I think it's natural to assume the longer we do something, we obviously just keep getting a little bit better at it. But I don't think this is entirely true. There's always plenty we can do to speed up this process or really slow it down. This has really got me thinking lately, as I feel I've really made some good improvements in my own photography journey lately, despite the fact I've been doing it pretty solidly now for over 10 years. Although peaks and troughs are natural, what can we do to speed up this process or keep improving at a faster rate and stay motivated? So this video is basically what I've come up with and what I've been implementing for the past few months. This has been really beneficial for me, not only just to improve, but to also really enjoy my photography more as well. So I think this can all be linked back to one simple idea that I want to go through in this video. So let's jump in. Naturally, one of the most important things that will help us improve is actual practice and just getting out and shooting more. But I think it's fair to say once we reach a certain level, we often just do enough to survive, just to get by, to get enough work. This is true for me anyway, and it's during those periods where your growth really plateaus, you become bored and disinterested as well. So I often think about what will aid in this, what will motivate me to go out and shoot more, maybe try new things. This is where this idea of curiosity comes in. To me, a really vital thing for absolutely anything in life, but especially when it comes to creative skills like photography. Naturally, we often have a lot of curiosity when we get started on new things like photography, asking many different questions and exploring different answers to those, which is what always helps in that initial rapid growth when we start a new skill, but often it falls away over time or once we reach a certain level of competence, or when we start to get comfortable with it. I think the people that are able to grow and get better and better over a longer period of time, but also stay motivated and really enjoy their craft, are the ones that are able to stay curious, ask the right questions of photography, ask the right questions of themselves. What if I try this? Or what if I maybe spend a bit more time doing this? Whatever it may be. But how do we stay curious over the longer term? Is it possible to stay curious about photography when you've been doing it years and years? Well, yes, I think it is, and here's some really useful tips on how I've been approaching it lately. First up, continue to push yourself outside your comfort zone. This is something I follow in my own photography and is really key to keep me interested and motivated. Always looking for different ways to improve and challenge myself, accepting that there's really no fixed endpoint on this photography journey. There's always going to be room for improvement. So for growth to occur, no matter what it is, it's always suggested to put yourself slightly outside your comfort zone, enough to challenge you, but not too difficult. To me, this is a really essential part of staying curious. For me lately, it's been experimenting with different types of street photography and putting a real focus on that. So this next point can really help with this, setting yourself a bit of a challenge and making it difficult, but not too hard or unattainable where you're unlikely to act on it. So setting yourself a new challenge or project. I've actually done this for myself, where next month I'll be starting a 30-day photography challenge. I'm going to share this in my next video, but I'll use it as an example here. For me, I often feel uninspired about my own city, or even Australia in general, especially for street photography. I think it's somewhat natural to tire of our own environment, especially when we get a bit caught up in our daily routines. So to promote my own curiosity for taking photos around Sydney, I've set myself this little challenge where I want to come up with a complete body of work in this 30-day period, showing off the best of Sydney. And to hold myself accountable, that's why I'm making a video on it. Whether you do something like this or just put a deadline on your challenge, this can be important to make sure you take action. So if your motivation or curiosity is lacking, set yourself a mini project like this, rather than just telling yourself you need to go out and shoot more, which can be far too open-ended. You're unlikely to follow through with it. Next up, stop the scrolling. Our world is full of bright screens demanding our attention over and over, our phones and computers. And that's not always a bad thing, of course, but I do think it is really important to get away from it every so often, whether that's going for a walk in nature, maybe exploring a new neighborhood, looking for different things that demand your attention in very different ways to social media. Take your camera along and see what photography ideas come to mind. This could be one way to spark your next project idea or something you want to explore a bit further. In the same way, I think diving into different books and galleries is a really interesting way to open up your curiosity, whether it's in the same medium like a photography exhibition or something totally different. I find this always a great way to spark my own curiosity. Especially when it comes to street photography, my recent curiosity has come from really exploring some of the older street photographers and even reading books like this one. People who shot mostly film and were able to come up with these amazingly timeless, incredible compositions away from the polish and shine of social media. So you don't have to give up social media altogether, but I do think spending a little bit of time away from it and exploring different things can be a really interesting way to spark new types of curiosity. Next up, teach and be taught. This is another factor often suggested to really aid in growing curiosity, and it's definitely true for me. One of the biggest advances in my own photography journey has been starting this YouTube channel. By teaching and diving into certain topics, you develop a much deeper understanding for them. You dive deeper into new questions and new ideas, which really can help expand your curiosity. Of course, not everyone has to start a YouTube channel, but if you're thinking about it, I can definitely recommend it, as this is a great way to really explore your curiosity when it comes to photography. If not, there's plenty of other ways you can teach or be taught: enroll in a class, offer to teach a beginner, write a blog post on photography ideas, or develop a small course, whatever it may be. Lastly, reflection. Those natural peaks and troughs that we have, we can't avoid them altogether, but we can definitely learn from them. I'm often quite bad at self-reflection, but it's something I'm working on. And definitely when it comes to looking back at my photography work, it's something I try and reflect on quite regularly. Like, what did I do well here, or what did I perhaps not do so well? Reflection and this practice of deliberately looking back on your choices and experience brings a really heightened understanding, and often a more curious one. Like, what if I do this next time, or what if I try this? This is where you learn to start asking yourself the right questions moving forward. A good example here could be as simple as looking back over some of your favorite images from the past 6 months or so. Really analyzing them. What did you like about those images? Looking for similarities, differences. What could you improve on next time even further? Alright, as a bit of a bonus, this one probably goes without saying, but also trying to stay curious in all facets of life, even outside of photography, and then it will almost become second nature. Curiosity really is a unique skill, and I think it's one that can really aid in having a more fulfilling and meaningful life, and really seeking out fun and enjoyment as well, because that's the most important thing at the end of the day, to enjoy what you're doing in all parts of life, not just photography. So I hope you have enjoyed this one. Stay curious, my friends, keep asking questions, and see how far you can take this little thing we call photography. Keep on creating and keep on growing, my friends. Catch you in the next one. Bye for now.